you again to share some of my blogs from this week. Uh, we'll begin with one, and I always try to say that everything you hear from me is my opinion and mine only. It is no one else's backing. Um, the first thing I'd like to share was from last Sunday. It's called Sunday Seems Long. We had Zoom church. I recorded last week's blogs for you on YouTube. I talked to my cousin Majel in Baltimore. I read some and was online a lot. Dog walks and feedings. Read some more. Made a toasted cheese sandwich. Ordered out fish for dinner. Watched news on TV, MSNBC and CNN only. Called a couple of people. Sat on the deck for a long time. Low humidity today. Still, it seemed really long this day. I don't know why. It beats me. It's the same length of any other day, but it seemed longer. This is from Monday, July 13th. It's called Names and Statues. Statues. I have a take on the controversy over names and statues. It goes like this. I grew up a Washington Redskin fan. Now I know it didn't bother me because I'm a white male. And the names of sports teams are not offensive since I'm not Native American. I never approved of Confederate statues because they were traitors to the country. But Americans who were slave owners didn't bother me and are not offensive because I'm not Black. Now I have, in the past few months, realized how insensitive I am to people of other colors' emotions. I think a majority of America has been woke to the feeling of people not like me and how names and statues offend them for years and years. That's what I think is happening. And though I've lived through the original civil rights movement, non-white Americans, and the unrest of the 60s, taking part in it, in fact, I wasn't fully awake. I'm getting there, I pray. I get why names and statues of American heroes who were slave owners are offensive to other non-white Americans. I get it. I have so much more to learn. But now I know as never before that I must learn from Blacks and Browns and Asians what it is they find offensive that doesn't touch me in the way it touches them. I am cautiously optimistic that white America has become woke in a way we have never been before. That can only be good and lead to a better America if we stay awake and listen and understand in our hearts and souls. What could be bad about me and other white people truly understanding the weight that has been on the shoulders of people unlike me, people of color, who are people just like me in their souls? Ponder that. Really ponder it. Excuse me. This next piece is called Packaging. I don't know about you, I just can't open anything anymore. It took me 5 minutes and a sharp knife to open some eye drops my eye doctor recommended. Opening a new bag of dog food or package of cheese is a challenge. I can't tear where it says tear here. I have to get scissors or a knife. And kids' toy packaging, forget about it. You need industrial tools and a blowtorch to get a Barbie out of her box. Opening any jar with that cellophane around it requires stealth. I don't get it. Do things these days need to be packaged so completely? Why? Or has packaging simply advanced far beyond usefulness? Maybe it's just an aging man like me, but I bet not. Ease up on the packaging. This is called something from the past. It's in these days of heat, I thought this might cool us off a little. It's called the cold. The cold now is brutal. You have to develop very fine-tuned stoicism to endure. It'll be 0 tonight, Fahrenheit, not centigrade, unfortunately, and won't be above 32 degrees again until a week from Sunday. That's what the Weather Channel predicts. This was from Thursday, December 28th of 2017. When I told Brenda that, she did some quick calculating and finger counting. Today is Thursday, she said. So you mean it will be below freezing for 10 more days? My instinct is always to look on the bright side, but there isn't much of a bright side when nothing outside will thaw at all, not even a little, for 10 more days. I may have to start wearing socks. When I ruptured my quad muscle and had surgery a year ago in September, my right leg was immobilized for 2 months. I couldn't put on socks on that foot, and stubborn enough not to ask Vern to do it for me. Last winter it was milder than usual, and I got through it without socks. And I've never worn socks from April through September anyway. I just never got around to putting them on. I've done okay so far, but this cold snap may break me. I've forgotten what socks feel like, but I may learn again in the next 10 days. I'll let you know. This was from Tuesday, July 14th. It's called I Stubbed My Toe. I stubbed my toe last night in my sandals. I do that a lot. I'm pretty clumsy. But today, my middle toe on my left foot is dark blue. It hurts when I walk. But my hands are free of bruises. You see, I have very thin blood. I bruise easily. Doctors tell me I'm lucky to not have to take blood thinners. I don't need them, but I bruise a lot. Good luck and bad luck go hand in hand, I'd say. Nature is good luck. I was out on our back deck yesterday, and there were dozens of birds, all sizes, all kinds, plus 2 chipmunks. Then a squirrel came along and scared most of the birds away. But a blue jay flew down. They are very aggressive birds. I hoped he was going to go after the squirrel. I would have liked to have seen that. But he just got a drink out of the bird bath. I watched longer than I meant to. Nature is good news. I guess climate change is the bad news that holds nature's hand. This was from Wednesday, July 15th, and it was written over 3.5 years ago. It's called Something I Still Stand By. It's an open letter to my granddaughters. Dear Morgan, Emma, Tegan, and baby Ellie, thanks for letting me to write to you to work through my emotions and thoughts about the election of Donald Trump as president. I have lots to ponder, and writing is a good way to do it. I don't know if you'll ever read these ponderings, but I am writing them down because of you. You are the future to me. I'm longing to be hopeful about your future in this confusing and painful moment. I know the three older of you know where I come from. Ellie's just 4 months old. She doesn't know yet. I come from southern West Virginia. Both my grandfathers were farmers. My maternal grandmother ran a boarding house for coal miners for several years. My grandmother Bradley raised my father and his siblings. My father had an 8th grade education. He was a farm boy and worked in the coal mines until World War II. After that, he was a barkeep, worked in a grocery store, drove a dry cleaning truck, and in those last years sold insurance. My mother taught elementary school, beginning before she even had her BA. The town I grew up in was Anahuac. There were 400 people there. I was from rural, white, working class people. That's who I am deep down. And yet it's rural, white, working class people, we are told, that gave the president the edge he needed. So why don't I understand them more accurately? Why didn't I understand them before the election, these white working class people? Did all my education and urban living divorce me from my roots in some radical way? I think many people would think that, but I'm not sure. I wasn't really comfortable and myself at Harvard Divinity School. I'm still baffled by New York City. I'm a bit ill at ease in many gatherings of Episcopalians, my chosen people, because they sometimes are from a social class and a level of wealth that makes me anxious. Even the town I live in, Cheshire, Connecticut, sometimes makes me nervous because it's so upper middle class and so white. I think I spent all my full-time ministry in cities and among minorities and the poor because I am more at ease there. The election, as you can see, has made me question who I am in a profound way. Maybe I'm caught between two worlds, my mountain roots and my comfortable New England adopted life in ways I don't understand before this Tuesday's election, and in ways that make me an outsider to both. I have been thrown into a deep place of reflection, unlike anywhere I've known before. I know understanding is the booby prize, but I write trying to get a handle on what there threw me for such a loop 2 days ago. If you don't mind, I'll continue my pondering by writing to you in the future, okay? Then just 2 more. One from Friday. It's called, I Need a Pedicure. Okay, 2 reasons it is hard for me to cut my toenails. I am overweight, and both my knees don't bend very well. One from surgery, and the other from arthritis. Fern cut my nails once during this weird shutdown, but I remembered when she was doing it, Now, it used to bother me that my mother would cut my father's toenails, so I won't let her do it again. The pedicure place I go to is right down the street. It is run by a family of Asians, Vietnamese, I think, extremely polite and competent. I don't know when they will open, but I miss them. I'm writing stuff like this because if I get politics on my blog, Mary Trump's book, the president's Rose Garden political rally, his handling or not of the COVID crisis, him trying to shut out the Center for Disease Control from vital statistics, his desire to open schools, whether it is safe or not, he and his daughter plugging Goya on the line, violations of strict ethics rules that White House cannot recommend any products, and his latest racist remarks. Police shoot white people too, he said, after thing after thing after thing he does has bothered me. So if I started down that line, I might offend even people who agree with me, sort of. That's how outraged I am right now. So I better stick to toenails in nature for the time being. And finally, from yesterday, strange blue jay behavior. The blue jay flew down and got a drink from our bird bath. Then he did a weird thing. He laid on the grass and spread his wings. I watched for 10 minutes, then started down to see if he was okay, and he flew away. Very odd to me. As odd as the time we're living in. The virus is one thing that makes things odd. The U.S. is one of the few developed nations that hasn't dealt with it in a meaningful way. Cases in the South and Southwest and California are out of control. No end in sight. But so, what's going on with the president and in D.C.? It's been over 90 degrees there for over a week. Maybe it's the heat that's making things odd, but I bet not. I better stop before I get overly political. Better to talk about blue jays these days. Thank you. I'm Jim Bradley, author Under the Castro Oil Tree. All the opinions you have heard are mine and mine alone. And I hope to be with you again soon to share some more of my writing.